And let me also share my screen. I will send the PDF also now. Just give me 1 second. Let me start recording and I can start it. Okay, you see this. I have already started recording. Okay. Recording is being working. I can see it. Yeah, it's recording. It's recording, that's good. It seems also I just found an option in the Meet in Microsoft Teams, sorry, that I can download the attendance. So I no need in this case to ask you to write present. So I downloaded the attendance for today. What I will do is that I will wait almost 5-6 minutes like today, and then I will start downloading the attendance. So for today attendance, I have the attendance. I just downloaded now from the team. They have a new option. The IT in our department, they have already activated this option for us. So before we start with the lecture, I was talking about the assignment. So the assignment, I have already published the grades, and I left feedback for most of you, and I have already also uploaded a sample solution. When I use the word sample, that means that, especially for the ER diagram, maybe sometimes you will do it in another way. But if I left feedback for you telling you that there are some minor mistakes, then you have to consider the version that is a sample. If I didn't left a feedback for the ER diagram, then your ER diagram is 100% correct, and no need to use a version as a sample. So anyone still have a question concerning assignment 1, or any question in the assignment 1, just to drop me an email. I will do my best to answer by email. And if for a reason you need to make a one-to-one discussion, so we can book an appointment with a virtual office hour to have this one-to-one discussion concerning the assignment. Since this course is Monday course, it seems that we have lost many days. We have holiday, we have 2, even though we have already considered in the plan. Because I'm giving another section, however, it is in campus. So they have more progress comparing to you. And we have also another Monday was the funeral of the Queen. So And this week was not in our plan. So all that line were shifted 1 week by this. So we expect to have the midterm this week according to our plan. So the midterm will be next week, including this lecture today. The midterm will be very similar to what in the assignment, what we have already in the lab exercises at the end of each lecture. They are more than sufficient about this. And I remember something now about the ER diagram. Some of you, they didn't use the same abbreviations. I expect these people, they are not attending the online classes, or maybe they are attending, they are not aware about it. At the beginning of the course, I said there are more than one notation, how to draw ER diagram, more than one standard. We should all agree on the same standard that we have already agreed in the course. And so you can't use another standard out of what is in the course. So you should be aware of this about the midterm. And as I said, for the midterm next week, it will be online using the Blackboard within the same time frame of the class. So I also will send an email for this. So be aware that all should be in the class about this. And I believe since this course is synchronous, not asynchronous, so attending is recommended and required by all of you. Just I want to remind us. I can't enforce any person to attend, but I highly recommend this, and I consider the class participation as apart from the overall grading of the course. So, and I believe that if you have time to attend and you're not attending, you are losing so much, because this internal discussion and the way we will discuss is very important for the whole, that for your own knowledge, for your own understanding, because I don't believe that if you do it standing alone, you can benefit in the same level as if you do it here. Ivan, are you here, Ivan, today?
Hello.
How are you today?
I am more tired than usual today, but I am good. How are you?
Good. I feel I'm good. So far, we are still at the beginning of the day. Ivan, do you have any feedback about the assignment?
Just that at the time of the assignment, I was not sure which notation they use for subclasses or subentities, and we went over that last lecture, so now I do know, but when assignment 1 was out, it was not clear yet.
Okay. But the deadline was of the assignment after lecture 3 or before? Just to remind me.
It was before. Or at least it came out before. Maybe it was due after. But I think it was due before.
Yeah, and there was something about subclasses. I also forgot in the assignment.
Yeah, there was I need to double check here, but there was something I needed to use, like, or sub-entity. I need to use sub-entity for something, and I was not sure at the time how to notate that.
Just give me a second to see it here. Assignment. This is a sample solution that we have already. I have already shared with you yesterday. I can't see that there is a subclasses to be used here, so I solve it without any subclasses.
Okay, I see. Right.
So because
okay.
Yeah, I understand. Maybe you can use a subclasses, but when I published this assignment, there was so the student can solve it without using subclasses. But I don't know exactly where you have already used a subclasses. Maybe you sometimes it depends about how you understand the requirement. But according to what I share with you, it can be solved without subclasses.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I also agree with you that maybe if we have the subclasses had already been discussed, which is the enhanced ER diagram, it's better before the assignment. Again, the problem was in this course we have so much Mondays. So even though I see, as I said, the other section, they have already finished everything, finished the assignment, finished almost 5-6 lectures. So I can't postpone any more of the assignment more than that I have already done. But I have already shifted 1 week, by the way. But I did my best that in this assignment that you can use what we have already discussed. But thank you so much, Ivan, about this feedback. That maybe I have also to consider always to be sure that all what we discussed is somehow sufficient to do the assignment without any additional resources. I take another one before we start. So Harmandeep. Harmandeep?
Hello, yeah.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Good. So do you have any feedback to share with us concerning the assignment?
No, it was good actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good because
I had minor mistakes and now I got that.
okay. So and that's good. So do you have time today morning or tomorrow? I don't know if yesterday, sorry. If you have already to check the feedback.
Yeah, I checked today morning.
That's good. It seems that you wake up early.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I'm happy to hear this. Okay, I will share with you the PDF for today. But just give me 1 second. I'm taking out the exercises from this. As I always say that the version that I shared at the beginning, it is not the final version that you considered later when you study. So you should take the version in the Blackboard. It is just for you to take note during the lecture. So delete this question, this question, this question, this question, this question. Okay, I will save it as PDF. Okay, I will share it here in the chat. Josh, I just saw your message. Have the notes been posted? No, yeah, this is what I'm doing now. So now I send it in the chat, so you should able now. Okay. The last point today, before also we start, I always do with my student that after we finish the first month, which is the first 4 lectures, I ask them for a feedback. Normally, I collect a feedback using a form. I send it for you, and then we share the result. But I found that we can use a platform that we can share the feedback live now to be more transparent. So there's something they name Padlet. I will share with you the link. Let me show you how we will do it. Don't worry, it is a feedback just to be aware we are on the good track, and that you can do it. We are going to do it anonymous. So let me go to the link here. So I in the course, if you go now, but I will share also the link here. There is something Padlet. There is a link. So I will get the link also. I share it here with the chat. So I expect you now, each one go to this link. You have 5 questions. So just write your own thought. And all of us, we will see what you are writing, even though we don't know who's writing. So just to write, what do you think now? We take 5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe to discuss this. Each one of you just write what he think as an answer for this. And don't be shy, write whatever you want. I don't know who's writing. This is what I can see. I'm sharing my screen to be aware that I'm not. I can see here there is people, anonymous people writing, so I don't know who's writing. So just write whatever you want and share it, and we will discuss it here. I highly recommend that all people who is here today, that they will participate in this survey. That's good. I feel that we are getting extremely positive, and then we are in the correct track. And we have maybe something about the speed of the course material. We have to discuss it now. Well, we will wait more 2 minutes and we start discussion. Last minute. Okay. So let's start how clearly did the course material is explained. Good, very good, perfect. Lecture notes are very clear, understand the topic extremely clearly, good, good. Perfect. It seems that for this question, we are in the correct track. How helpful were the homework assignment understanding? The ERD of the assignment was good, but again, the multiple choice fit are arbitrary. Okay, so what you are saying that the part of the ER diagrams that are perfect, however, the other part is not 100% fit arbitrary. I think so. The part of the multiple choice, the aim from this is your understanding about the concepts, not how you practice the concepts. So it will sometimes they shouldn't be direct answer or direct answers from the course. Sometimes they have to see how much you understand from this course. So it's very important to do it like this. But maybe I have to consider also more multiple choice that are related, directly related to the course. So, but as I said, sometimes I have to ask a multiple choice to see how much you understand, not how much you can practice. So how well your questions are answered during the class or via email. All questions are answered and doubts are cleared. Questions are answered well. Question not clarified, answer good. Okay, perfect. So for me, it's right that we missed 2 classes, we're behind schedule. Instead of wasting time in unrelated talks, if you could stick a bit to the course, it would be better. Okay, first, we are not wasting time. I disagree with this. Yeah, I'm happy that you have already left a feedback. I'm extremely happy to hear some criticism, and this is the main aim from this. But it is not wasting time when we discuss, for example, what we are doing now. This is what we are doing is extremely important about the feedback. Later, if you are going to learn about what is software development, one of the best approach is now Agile. Agile is said that you don't have to finish the whole project and then you get a feedback. For each mini task, you should get a feedback. I'm not sure if this is a wasting time. And sometimes we are going to discuss about about how do you think about this? What is your feedback about this? Also, it is part from letting people to be more interactive. We can do the class in a way that I'm the only person here talk, and just I'm talking the material of the lecture. This is not the way. It would be an extremely boring one, and it is not interactive. However, the time management, I have to take care more about it. Don't worry about it. About the course schedule, no, we are within the schedule. We just lost 1 week. So I said comparing to the other section, but from the first day I know that we have 2 holidays, so we just have 1 week. And if the course material will not be finished, it is my own responsibility to have more make-up sessions or try to have a longer session to do that to finish on time. So don't worry about this. I will do my best to finish all requested as I have myself. Put my plan. No one asked me about this plan. I did it myself. Again, thank you so much extremely for this to send a ring bell about. But I don't believe we are wasting time. I disagree about that. We are wasting time. We are not wasting time. Discussion during the class is not a wasting time. What we are doing now, it's not a wasting time. It's part from the delivery. Giving a course doesn't mean that we just have to open the PowerPoint and I talk about slide by slide. I have been teaching 12 years now, so I believe this is a very classical way. Sometimes we have to talk with each other, maybe even though out of the course, just to make, to change the mood, about let people, sometimes when I ask somebody about what you are doing, to be aware that this person is with us. But again, I agree with this about the time management, that we should be aware about how we time. This is, don't worry, we'll do it. The speed is pretty good in my opinion. The amount of time we have, I think the speed is just right. But I saw that some people are slow. I agree. At the beginning we were slow because I at the beginning of the first or the second lectures, I have to be aware that all of you, since it is a new material, to be extremely slowly, because I believe in the class we are not in the same level. Some people need more time from the others. So at the beginning, especially at the early lectures, we will be extremely slow to be fair with all of you. But yes, I have to be more faster comparing to what we have already done with upcoming lectures. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Definitely learned something. Yes. So I think so. As an overall, we are in the correct track. I will leave this is open. So if you want later to add any command, just go ahead and do it. I want to thank you all of you for this today about what we have already sharing with me. Returning back to the lecture today, about what we have already finished the last time is about enhanced ER diagram or a model, which is about subclasses and superclasses. And again, as I said, don't be confused that we are within the plan. We just lost 1 week out of the plan, but we can handle it. I have already scheduled this within the upcoming lecture, so don't worry about this. The enhanced ER model, we have a subclasses and superclasses. We talk about specialization and generalization, and then we talk about how to convert ER diagram to a relational model. If you remember when I talked about the main steps in the database design, we said we have first the conceptual design, then we go to the logical design, then we go to the physical one. In the conceptual design, we talk more about how we can understand the concepts, understand the real world that we have it. Here at this part, we use the ER diagram model to design the real world, to design what's happening in the real world, which means that for this project that we are going to use it in this ecosystem, what are the main entities, the main concepts, their attributes, how they interact with each other. This was the output from this level was ER diagram. And then we, in the last lecture, we have to choose a special data model. Which is relational. And because choosing the data model, it will be pre-step before we choose the database management system. So after we use a model, we said, okay, we want to use a relational model. How we do convert this? This is what we have already done the last time. Today, now we have the relational model, list of the database schema and the schema of each table. So how we are going to implement this physically? This is what we are going to do today. And if you remember, the last time I said, try to install the software today. So physically means that the relational model that we have it, how we are going to do it in a way to choose a database management system and create the table. This is what we are going to do it today. We are going based on the relational database model. We are going to create these relations in using SQL and using MySQL database management system. This is why I ask you to install the exam or the MAMP for Mac people, even though there is an exam also for Mac. And then we are going to know how we can use this SQL to create our database based on the relational schema. And then we talk about the constraint, and then we will have a lab exercise today. So I have a question here. So when we are going to create, we use SQL language. I said at the beginning of the course, we have two types of the language. Anyone remember what are the two types of the language? Anyone remember here?
Data definition and data manipulation.
Who's this?
Which is, this is Simran. I'm sorry.
Yes, Simran. Yeah, no worry.
Okay.
So thank you so much, Simran. Yeah, I told, yes, we have data definition, DDL, and we have DML. So DDL, data definition language, we said we will use it to create tables and the structure, and this is we will use it later to update and select and insert data. So for the DDL, this is what we are going to learn today, how we can use the DDL to construct physically what we have already designed in our relation database schema. So just to revise some terminologies with you, we have something we named relational database, set of relational, which is what we have already done the last time. And this is a relational database, and it has a schema. This is a schema, which will have the schemas for all tables. Again, I think so. I have it here. Sorry. Oh, I did the mistake here. This is the database schema relation. This is what we have already done the last time. So and each one of them we name it. This is its relation schema. Returning back here. Sorry. So what I have already shared with you now, it is a relation database schema. So, and each relation will have a schema instance. The schema is what we have already done like this. The name of the table, the attributes, the type of the attribute. An instance is the values that you have it in this relation. And database instance is a collection of all values. So if you go to here, then this is the relational schema. This is instances. This is, we name it relation or a table, but we use the word relation because we are using the relational model. Here, this is, we name it, before this you have the word record, row, tuple. Today we will have domain value, which is, this is the type. We have already discussed this before. The domain is the type and the value that you are going to insert here. And the column, we name it attribute. So attribute, tuple, relation, domain, you know this before, and then we have the domain value, which is the value for this attribute. Just the terminology, you should be aware about it. So, okay, we have a question now. Here is a table presenting a relation R, this one. Identify the attributes, the schema, and tuples. Which is the following is not true? Take 1 minute to give me an answer. Just see Navipun has already shared this. Okay, so this table, based what we have said, we have something, we name it attribute, schema, and tuples. So which is the following is not a true statement to use it or to say it? Anyone had a okay. Simran Preet, go ahead.
I think all are correct except E, so none of the above.
Okay, E. So anyone want to share another answer before we go to discussion? Okay, I will take other one. Ikamjut. Yeah, okay. Harmandeep, then I can go. Prepare yourself, Ikamjut. Harmandeep, go ahead.
Either C or E.
So maybe you see for you. Okay. Ikamjut, do you have an answer for us? Ikamjut, are you here?
I feel a C.
C. So we have 2 votes for C, 1 vote for you. Let's discuss it. So, sorry. So the question is, which is Not true. Let's go one by one. R had a 4 tuples. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is correct. So a tuple is a record. This is a tuple. B is an attribute of R. B is an attribute of R, so this is B. And yes, this is an attribute. So this is correct, this is correct. C 6, 7, 8 is a tuple. 6, 7, 8 is a tuple. Yes, this is correct because it is a tuple. 6, 7, 8. So the schema of R is ABC. ABC schema, it was a list of the attributes. So this is correct. So none of the above. E is correct. Herman Preet, do you want to discuss something or still you are raising your hand? Herman Deep, sorry.
Oh, it's by mistake, sorry.
Oh, no worry. So I see that all are correct. And the last one is a correct answer, as Simran said. So none of the above. So all are correct. The aim from this question to understand more what is a schema, what is a tuple, what is an attribute, and how you can see this within a simple example like this. Let's go to the next step. Now let's start with the main core for today, which is SQL. As we said, in SQL, we have two different languages, data definition language and data manipulate language. Data definition language, it is DDL, and data manipulate language, it is DML. So when we're defining a relation in SQL, you should be aware that all relational schema that you have already designed, they are going to be sorry, I just see that the chat you choose E. So SQL makes a distinction between two kinds, stored relation and views. Stored relation, which is the permanent tables that you will always have in your database. Because for us, if you remember when we said we have something we name it database, which is a set of physically tables that we are going to do today. This will be hosted in a database management system. In our case, it is MySQL. And later we will have a database software, that it will talk with the database management system to have an access to the data here. So this is a software that you can build it using Java, Python, PHP, web, whatever it is. So here you will have stored tables that you have a permanent data. This is, we name it stored relations. And you can also create something, we name it views. We'll talk about it later. So views, they are not physically exist. They are not stored tables or relations. However, they are more as a result for a special query, and they are a temporary virtual container that you did it for a special query from the user. So first, we should be aware that we should create the stored relations, and the views we can construct it later based on a query from the user. So we are going to discuss, as Papa said, stored relations today. So what is different data types that we have it in SQL? Because all of you are familiar with the programming language. So when we talk about programming language, we talk about when the first part in any programming language, it's about variables, how we are going to declare a variable. And we said a variable can be integer, it can be string, it can be character. Sometimes most of the programming language, they are very similar, but there's also some difference from programming from a language to another language. So in SQL, when we are going to use an attribute and declare the type for this attribute or the domain as string, we can choose character or varchar, for example. The character which is, for example, if you have a name, you can use, as I said, varchar or varchar. And then the n here, the n here talk more about the length of the characters, the maximum length of characters that allow the user to enter for this attribute. For example, if I have a relation and have here first name as an attribute, and when I declare it, I will declare it with a type for this, because I need to type for each attribute. In the database schema, we talk about just how many attributes we have, but we didn't talk about their types. We have to talk about their types before we go to the SQL management system, database management system. And we didn't talk about the type, because the type or the domain type related to the database management system. At the logical design, we talk about the data model. Now we are talking about the database management system. So we should understand more this database management system, what is the different data type it can accept. In our case here, it can accept character and varchar. So, and it is the maximum number of elements. So if I said char10 for the first thing, I can put maximum 10 character as for each value. I can't put more for this, but I can put less. So, and it is the maximum. What is now the difference between varchar and char? The difference between both of them, if you set char, then char in this case means that you are going to allocate exactly 10 spaces in your memory for a special attribute. I said first name char10. So your database management system is going to allocate for each value in this attribute 10 character, even though you are not going to use it, because some names will be less than 10. But varchar means that you will not allocate 10 characters. You will be dynamic. You will allocate number of characters based on the entry that you are going to enter. So in the first record, returning back to the first name, in the first record, you have 6 characters, then you will allocate 6 in the memory, your database management. The second one, you 9, you allocate 9. But it shouldn't be exceed the n in both cases. So the varchar, it's better to use it whenever the entry we are not sure about the number of characters that the entry is going to use it. So in this case, we use varchar. Char, if you are sure about exactly the number of characters in this case. Both are correct, but one will waste more the memory comparing to the other. The same for bit string. So if we have fixed bit or a varying one string of length n, the same with what we have to use a bit one. You know about bit, zeros and ones and all this. What about Boolean? So you can declare a type for attribute as a Boolean. In this case, it will be true or false, or null. For sure, null you can use in all places. You can use int or integer, which is for integer value. Short in, which is short in, they will take a maximum number of numbers and an integer, and in this case it takes the lower bound. If it will take the lower bound and then from the half of the integer if you use a short int. But normally you have to use int if you want to take the whole number in this case. We have here float and double. I think so you are familiar with this using other programming language. So for either you use float or real, both are correct, and then you can use a double. You know that the float gives you more numbers comparing to the double. And here we have a decimal and numeric. We can use it for float and double, but we can both are the same. But we can control something here. We can control the format. So I can set to the compiler that I need, for example, for D, this is I need to enter the values as a real or a float. However, I need to have 6 digits after the decimal point. And the total number of the number, which is the n in this case, it should be 9. 9 and then 6 after the digit, after the decimal in this case. So you control the format if you are going to use a decimal one or the numeric one. So still there is another method, we name it date and time. Date mean that we will have a format, we name it date. In this case, the user, if I declare this attribute as a date, then the user expects to enter a values in this format. Give me 4-digit for the year, dash, 2-digit of the month, 2-digit of the date. This is not the user, sorry, who is going to enter. You as a developer in your code, later when you will insert data, you should send the data to the database management in this format if you name it as a date. The same for time. And there is something we name it timestamp, which is we will send the date and the time as a one entry. So you can declare an attribute here as a date stamp. So in this case, you will save the date and the time in the same attribute. Sorry, timestamp. Let's start with the first code to write a table. So the first simple DDL syntax is create table, and you give the table name. And then you will have more than one attribute, and for each attribute, you will have the type. Let's take an example. I want to create, I have in my schema, table movie, I have the schema like this. I have title, year, length, all this. This is my schema from the logical design. So I want to create this table physically now. So I said create table, movies. I go to the name of the attribute, and then I will give the type based on what we have already discussed so far. And then I have to start with braces and close with the braces. And this, by the code, this is a code, use it once. And when you execute it, it will create a table. You can't execute more than one. It's not like another programming language. Each time you run the code, you have an input, you expect output. Here, this DDL code, if you run it once, then you create physically table. If you run it again, you will get an error. So I will, first I have to go to exam. You should have all installed this. And I have to run the Apache and the MySQL. The MySQL is the most important for us, which is a database management system. The Apache is used for PHP rendering, but because the admin page is based on PHP, so we need to have Apache run also. So I can go to admin, press here now admin. It will take me to, this is the admin panel of my database management system. The admin panel. In my case is the database management system is MySQL. So I will set localhost PHP my admin. You can directly access it from here, but you should be aware that you have already your server is being run. It is running already. So now this is list of databases, because for each project you should create its own database for each one. So what I said, for each database we should create its own, because it's not recommended that for different projects you share the same database. It depends. So I can create a new database now using here. I can give it a name like COM230 on 1. I created it. So here we have COM230 on 1. And then now I can go to SQL here. I start writing my code, returning back to here, what we have already in the lecture. We said here in the lecture we were creating the table movie. So create table movies, title char, year int, length int, char. Now after I finish this, I should now go to set to the, sorry. I can press go now. Go means that it will be executed. And I'm telling you the database management system to create a table under this umbrella, under this database. So go. Now you see I have now the table here. Movies. It was created. Go to the structure. This is a structure based what I have already declared. Okay, let's continue here. So the simplest form to create a table is to use this code, create table. This is a DDL code, create table, list of attributes, the type of the attribute, and then we are done. So suppose that I have created already my tables physically, and then I want to modify the structure. Modify the structure. So if I want to modify the structure, I can use either first, if I want to delete the whole table, I can use a drop. If I want to modify the structure, again, don't be mixed later. When you talk about modifying the structure and or modifying the data. The structure is the structure of the tables and their attributes. The data later, it is DML code, which is totally different. Oh, you are not seeing my presentation? It seems we don't need it. I see it is still freezing here. Are you able to see my? Maybe now you can see it. Please, anyone can tell me if you can able to see my screen, because I just realized you were not able to see it. I was talking.
Yes.
Okay, now. If for any reason because I'm using more than one screen, and then I have to shift to the database management system. So if for any reason you are not seeing the properly screen that you should expect, please just tell me. So what I was saying that when you are going to modify a structure, don't mix between the structure and the data. The data means that you should later in the DML, when we are going to insert, update, or delete a data existing, we are talking about the structure. So modify the structure. So either I can delete the table using drop one, or I can make an alter, which is modify the structure and add a new attribute or delete an attribute by using the command alter or syntax alter, drop, delete the whole table. So if I want to alter table movie and add this, or delete this, let's try it. So we said it is general. I go here, I will set alter table. Sorry. So as I said, we are deleting it. We said we are going to return back here. No, we don't here. You can see this. You should. Is it okay, or you need me to try to maybe maximize it? Are you okay with this?
Yeah. I think we
Okay,
can see
good.
the screen. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So if I want to now to alter table movies, I will said, and then alter table moving, I'm telling you that the database management system using its own compiler that I want to update the structure. For example, I want to add a new attribute. General chart. Okay. So now I wrote my query. I can go and run it. So let's see what happened here. So now I have here, it was not before. It was created here. So now suppose that I want to delete an attribute, like delete, we said delete producer, I think so. Alter table, moves, drop. What we want to drop at the reducer. So if I said go, let's check before we do this and after we do this. So we have this structure here, producer. So I want to delete it now. Yes. Go now. I don't have any more producer here. So what we did so far that we can either add or delete attribute from a table using alter to do this. You should be aware if you delete a table, you will delete an attribute, you will lose the whole values in this attribute. And if you add this one, then if, for example, you have an existing table, X, you have attribute A, attribute B, attribute C, and D, for example. And then you will add another one, E. If before you will add E, for example, you have here data 1, 2, 3, 5, and then you will add later E. Here, by default, it will take null, because before you will add it, there was no E, and there are already existing data. So all existing data will have a value for E as a null, because normally the whole record should be included a data. So the part of the new attribute will be null. A null is a value, by the way, but it is a null. So when you create a table, sometimes we need to give it a default value. Why we need the default value? Because sometimes we see that later you as a programmer or a database designer who's going later to create a software, you should be aware that you enforce the user is going to use the software and later to use your database to have all data that you needed for your database. Sometimes you said, okay, I will put it as a default, which means that if later, again, if I have this table A, B, C, and the user entered 2 values for this tuple but doesn't enter here any value, then if you have already defined the default value, it will take a default value, like here. So when you said create table move star, you said default in your code this, which means now, if later there's data being inserted and there is no value for this, it will take this. Default unlisted. So you can give it a default value, mean that whenever there is a new record, a new tuple being inserted, and if there is no value for this attribute in this record, then it will take the default value. You can define the default value as a part from your structure. Okay, now let's talk more about constraints. So now we talked about the data tables, how we can create it, how we can create the types, how we can rank different tables, and how we can also give a different value. What about constraints? Do you remember what mean by constraints here? I think so. You should be familiar with the word constraint, or what is different constraint we will have it, which is different restrictions. We have 2 main restrictions that we have already discussed without use the word restriction or constraint when we create our database. I will ask the question other way. when we created our database system, we said we will have more than one constraint to be considered. Do you remember this? Okay. What about a primary key? Do you remember that when we created our ER diagram and later the schema, we always define there is a primary key? So what is the constraint of a primary key? What is a restriction? What is the definition of the primary key? Alan, are you here, Alan? Alan?
Hello? Yeah.
Hi, Alan.
I'm here.
So my question is, when you created a primary key in your database schema, what is the definition of a primary key? What is the constraint of a primary key?
Well, the key is the identifying like attribute for a entity.
Yeah. So what is special for this attribute comparing to the other?
You can use it to find the entity or like the specific entity.
Yeah. This is the usage. Yes, you are correct. This is why we need it. But my question is, what is special with this attribute that we can use it to define the entity? What is special with this attribute? What differentiates between this attribute and other attribute to say that it is a primary key?
It's unique for each entity.
Perfect. It is unique. Yes. Thank you so much. Simran, do you want to add something here?
I think that's pretty much it. He answered it.
Yeah. Sarsak. Yeah, it is unique and also no duplication. It is unique and it shouldn't be null. We both should be compared, because if you are going to use it to identify, yes, it should be unique and no null. Because if it is null, then now I'm not getting the value that I can use it to identify, because null is a value, but it is not can be used to identify because it is null value. So this is a constraint, which is when we are going to design or construct physically our database, we should consider. We didn't do it so far. So the primary key, we should tell the database management, hey, database management system, take care, this is a primary key. It cannot be unique. It cannot be null. There is another special attribute we talk about it, and we should consider its constraint now. Do you remember? Anyone? Sorry? Asira? Yeah, go ahead.
It's a foreign key.
Foreign key, perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, can you tell more about foreign key?
We use it when we define the weak entities.
Yeah, but it is not only for weak entity. We use it about relationships between between a relation. When we transfer the ER diagram to a relation schema, the last time we said sometimes there was be one-to-one relationship, one-to-many, many-to-many. Sometimes we have to take this attribute from here, put it here for a relationship. Is it correct? Sorry, Asira, I didn't hear you. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Asira. Yeah, so there is another constraint, which is a foreign key that we should be aware and consider it here. So also the foreign key, we should tell the database management system about why you need to have this foreign key, and tell the database, so not why, tell the database, hey, this is a foreign key here. You should add this to the code. Do you want to take a break or we can continue? If you want to continue, I need 5 thumbs up to continue. Or we will take a break 10 minutes. Many people want to continue. Okay, we will continue. So maybe you can have more time when we are going to do the lab exercise. So you will have more time to relax and then do this part of the exercise. So let's start with a constraint. So we have 4 different types of constraints or integrity constraints in database. Integrity constraint, because we talk about the integration between all this data. So we have the domain constraints, the key constraint, which is the primary key, entity integrity constraint, we talk about it, and the referential integrity constraint. So domain constraint mean that when we define it, that, for example, when I create the table as I did, I define this as integer. When I said create table, I said here age int. So in this case, this is, we name it the domain constraint, is not allowed to insert a non-integer value. And if there is a non-integer values being already inserted, here we will have, let's say, an error. So our database management system, and this is by default do it the database, we don't have to do it. Whenever we consider that or define it as from this special type, oh, I'm sorry. You are the only one you asked for a break. I'm so sorry for this. So if we are going to define it as special type, our database management system should not allow other value from another type to be inserted here. So this is a domain constraint that nothing to be done from our side. Just when we write the code, we define the domain, and the database management system will take care for this. The key constraint. If in the key, we always use the word primary key before, but the primary key comes from a word, it is a key. A key for us that it is unique. And sometimes when we have to deal with a database management system, when we are going to deal with database design, sometimes we have more than one option to select or define a key. Sometimes I said, okay, I can take the ID and the name. Both of them can be a key. But ID also can be a key. So we have 2 candidate key here, ID or ID plus name. The primary key can be the ID. So the primary key is the least key that you can define it. Again, least key. So if it is only key, we should be always, as we said, it should be always unique. This is a constraint. However, the primary key, if I want to say this is not only a key, it is a primary key. In this case, like here, for example, you have a social security number, you have a name plus address, you have a name plus address plus age. All can be 3 different examples of a person table. This is a key, this is a key, this is a key, but this is a primary key because it is the least key. And normally we have to choose a primary key, which is the least key from this case. And if we define it as a primary key, then we have now 2 constraints. Unique, no null is accepted. You can't put null value here. There always should be a value and it should be unique in this case. This is why we name it entity integrity constraint. So a key constraint means that it is unique. Entity integrity constraint means the primary key will never be empty. Because if I have an empty, now I have a problem with the entity itself. How I can define each record. The aim from to having a primary key to define each record. So if there is no way to define it using this key, so now it's not anymore primary key doing its work. How I can declare a primary key? There are 2 ways to declare a primary key. So we have either method 1 or method 2. So method 1, when I create a table, I will create the attribute as we did before type, and I will set here primary key. Or if I have more than one attribute as a part from the primary key, I will say primary key makes a list of attributes. There is unique constraint can be used, but this unique said rather than primary key, I said unique. This can be used for key, not for the primary key. For the primary key, I have to use the word primary key. But still, I can use unique. Unique means that this attribute is unique. It is a key, but not a primary key. Like here, so the name is a primary key. So I can write it like this. This is a method 1. Or I can write it like this. After I declare all attribute, I said this is a primary key. This is method 2. Like table movie here, I have here primary key is 2 attributes, title and year. So I only can use method 2. I can't do it like this, for example. I can't write here primary key and then write here also primary key. This will give us error because we have only one primary key in any table. I said this before. But sometimes the primary key can be one attribute or more. If it is more than one attribute, it is a must to use this. Declare all of them, and then you list what is a primary key for you. If it is only one, you can put it like here, or both are correct. Be aware about it. You have only one primary key, but it can have more than one attribute. Let's take this and do it. Let's first drop the table movers and reconstruct it again with a primary key. So I have table movers here. I can go to SQL. So drop table movers. Do you want to drop? Yes. You see, we don't have any more table here. So now I can write the code again. So I said create table, title, year, length, blah, 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 producer. And I said the primary key is title and year. So after I define them, and then I will add this, tell this is a primary key, go. So now if I go to the structure, you see now how it is now here because this is a primary key. Your database management system will make a special sign here that both of them, they are the primary key in this case. Let's take this question now. So now the question is, consider the following SQL table definition. Which of the following is not a legal addition? Not a legal addition. So I want to write, this is table definition, create table employee, SSN integer, salary float, name character. If I want to add unique just before command line 2. So if I want to add unique here. Here, is it correct? Add a primary key here. Line 2 and 3 mean here. Add a primary key only here. All are legal, none are legal. 1 minute, I need some answers. Okay, I have Simran, I will wait more. Simran and Sarsak and Harmandeep. So, yeah, 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Okay, go ahead, Simran.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I would say B is the answer. B is not legal.
B, all are legal.
B for B as bat.
B. Okay.
Yeah, this one.
Thank you. Sarsak,
E, none are legal.
B,
E.
E. Okay, thank you. Harmandeep,
B.
B. So we have 2 voted for B, 1 vote for E. Eamon,
I'm gonna say B.
so we have 3 for B. Josh,
E.
so we have 2 votes for E. Any more answers before we go to discussion? Okay, so I will say it is not only 3, it is 4 because I will add my vote here. So first, let's agree what is the primary key here. The primary key is social security number. You can see it. It is primary key. So we have only one attribute to use it as a primary key. And in this case, if it is only one attribute to use it as a primary key, so no need to use it with a salary and put here primary. You have to put only as a primary. Adding unique, as I said, it is correct. You said because it is unique. However, it doesn't define that it is primary. It defines that this is a key. So it is not incorrect to use it, but this doesn't define primary key. So it is correct. It doesn't give an error. But if I put primary here, then I got an error. So this is correct, but this is not sufficient to use it here, but it's correct. Doesn't give an error. Here, this is also correct. Because I said here, primary key, so this is a correct one, this is correct, this is correct. This is incorrect. So I can't say all are illegal because this is incorrect, B is incorrect. And none are legal, I can't use it because I have 2 legal statements here, this and this. Harmandeep, do you still have a question or still raising your hand? Harmandeep.
I'm sorry.
No worry. I just want to be sure that you don't have any question. So, referential integrity, which is the last part about integrity before we go to make exercise. So when we talk about referential integrity, so it's more about referencing. It is more. Simran, go ahead. Do you have a question?
Oh, I'm sorry. So the answer was B, right?
Yeah, the answer is B.
Okay.
So
yeah.
because it is, which is not legal. So I see that this is only not legal.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
So referential integrity mean that which, when we referring from table to table, you know about foreign key. We have already used it in our design. And foreign key means that we have a table like here. And we have another primary key here. And then we refer to the foreign key here. So a foreign key is a copy from a primary key for another table. Why we do this? Because according to design, sometimes we have a relationship like 1-to-1, 1-to-many. We have to put the primary key or the foreign key as a, so you know about this. So this refers, so this is referring to here. So we should tell the database management system, hi, this is key, this attribute refer to this attribute here. So if I have pass C number and it came from here, this is a foreign key here. And this is a primary key here. There is something you should be aware about it now, because most of the students will always make this mistake. If this is a foreign key here, you should create this table before, or you will get an error. Because if you start creating this table in your management system, database management system, you are creating an attribute you are creating an attribute that refer to another table, that this table doesn't exist. So first we are going to create this, and then we will create this. And now, what I have to write in my code, I have two options. Either I will say, create the attributes and then create this attribute. Why I'm creating this attribute or defining it, I said refer to this. Or I define it and then I said this is a foreign key. It depends. And so both are correct. So either you use it, and maybe this is more easier to use it because it's just, I don't have to do it and then said foreign key. I said references. I give it the name of the table from where it would come. Okay, we have a question here. Choose the best answer. So consider the following SQL table definition. Having a management ID as a foreign key. Having a manager ID as a foreign key referring for a table manager. So we have here two tables. First table, it is table manager, and another table, table employee. Employee and manager. The primary key of manager is manager ID. This is primary key. We will use it here as a foreign key. So manager ID is a primary key here. We will use it here as a foreign key. So, which is not legal also, not legal. Add a foreign key references manager ID before line 5. Line 5 here it is. This is line 1, 2. Oops. Don't tell me that you saw the answer.
Yes, I did.
Okay, still maybe we can discuss it. Why is this? Okay, I hate my pen in this. I don't know why it's happening. So this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. So the question is, add a foreign key manager ID referencing manager ID before line 5, or add a primary key just on line 2 and add reference on 5, whatever, you see it. Just take 1 minute to read them and then we will discuss it. I will choose somebody. Kanwarjit, are you here?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
So, do you know which one is the best answer to choose it?
I think C.
C?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kanwarjit. I will choose somebody else, and then we will discuss it. Paramveer? Paramveer?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, Kura said E. Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you. Yeah.
Still looking at.
What do you say?
I'm still figuring out the answer.
Okay. Okay, take your time. I will ask you later. Maybe we'll talk with Josh, and then still we can take your answer. Josh, go ahead.
Well, I'm seeing an issue with both A and C. For A, we wouldn't have a comma after the manager ID int, which I'm assuming would cause an issue. And then C, we don't have anything specified in manager, so the ID
What
I'm
about
assuming
B?
needs to be specified.
What about B?
B?
Yeah.
Add primary key just before the comma on line 2, so that works, and then add references manager before the comma. So that one again doesn't have the ID part of it, so it doesn't specify
So this-
what part of the
This
manager
is
table we're
incorrect
referencing.
also.
Yeah.
So in this case, what would be the
So it'd be E.
E? Okay, thank you so much, Josh. We'll go back to Paramveer before we. Paramveer, do you still have any answer for us?
I guess it's A.
A, only A. Thank you so much, Paramveer. So as Josh has already discussed it with us, so I see that A, B, C, all are illegal. Let's go one by one to see why are illegal. So first, add foreign key. Is there somebody in the chat before I will go to discussion? I'm seeing a key. Yes, Zach, thank you. Sanyam, it's okay. We can just take care and we can see you later, maybe in the next lecture. So we said A, add foreign key manager ID, reference manager ID before line 5, which is here. I said here 1. This is again, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5. So it say A to add foreign key manager, references manager ID before line 5 here. Before this here. So this is incorrect, because if you are going to use the foreign key as it is, we should first finish declaring it, and then we set foreign key, like here. So if you are going to use a foreign key, as I said, first, you should define the attribute, and then you set a foreign key. You can't use it as the same line if you want to use the word foreign key. So this is incorrect. Add a primary key just before command line here, which is correct. And add foreign key references manager. So here you can add references here. So far it is correct, manager, but it is incomplete, because we should also mention that the attribute in the second table where we refer, like here. So we should set references, the name of the table, and also the attribute in the table from where it comes, because maybe you don't have the same name here and there. So this is incomplete. It should have more ID. When we refer to the original table, we should mention also the type or the attribute in the original table. So it is incomplete, and then it is illegal. C, add a primary key here. Sorry, add a primary key here. Just before the command line, and add foreign key references manager before this here. So add foreign key references manager. So it is the same as we discussed here. If you want to add the word foreign key as a keyword, it should be under not the same line. If you want to use foreign key, then you declare it first and then go to a new line. You can't put them in the same line. So the answer would be none are legal or are illegal. Any question before we will go? Okay. There are still part about key constraints. We will talk about it more about maintaining key constraint. I will leave it to the next lecture before we go to that exercise now. So go ahead, Josh, if you have any question for this.
Yeah, I just had a quick one. Could we not still put it on the same line for C as long as we had a comma after the manager ID int?
Yeah,
or would it not work?
Yeah. If
Okay.
there is a comma, the comma is means that you finish this line, you will go to the second
Yeah.
line. Yes, so if you put a
Okay.
comma, then it will work. Yeah.
Sounds good.
So now the lab exercise is what we, as I said, it is sequential. So in the first lab exercise, we do the ER diagram. The second one, we do this, the relation schema. Today, I will ask you to do at least for today, the first 5. So I want to write, you go ahead, I will make now Greg asked rooms, and I want you to write the code for at least the first 5 tables to create them in the database. So as I said, at least the 5 first tables to create them in the database, according to what you have already done before. I think so you have both of them from the last lectures. No need to share it with you here. So I will break you down to rooms, and I will be with you in different rooms now. The aim is to the first 5 tables to create them in your database management system according to the schema that you have already designed, based on the codes that we have already today discussed. You have the lecture with all the answers, the questions. So you have all material you needed, and you have this from the other lectures. So I will break you down now for rooms. And then we'll start from there. I will not have the same room. I will create new rooms. Let me delete the old one. I don't prefer that you stay in the same. I'm deleting them. Okay, now automatically create rooms. Okay, I will open now. I create the rooms. I will open. You will go there now. Here now, closed. All back? Yeah, I think so. Okay. Okay, guys. So who want to share with us what he has or she has with his group already done? Go ahead, Josh.
I believe that's the right screen. Can you guys see everything? Just
Yeah.
put this a bit bigger.
No. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
So I stop selecting. There we go. Use that.
Yeah.
So
this is clear. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we created each table and figured out which one was the primary key and which ones were the foreign keys. So if we look over here, we had the social security number. We found that, hey, that's probably the foreign key referencing the social security number. So that's what we did. So we did SSN references customer SSN. And then that was our primary key. And it's pretty much the same thing all the way through. up until you get to the buy and sell options, where this is where we kind of ran into an issue because there was multiple foreign keys because
Yeah.
these were referencing previous tables. So we came up with two different possible solutions for that. Our first one was we tried to do references this,
No,
references that,
I
references
believe
that.
in this case, yeah. When you have more than one foreign key, define all your attributes in order not to miss anyone, and then you can start saying this is a foreign key, this is a foreign key, this is a foreign key.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we were debating. So we had this one was our first option, and then we decided, hey, maybe this is the better option where we actually declare each attribute, and then we say, hey, these are all foreign keys, and they reference this, and this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Perfect. You did the whole tables. Amazing. Amazing. Can we see now your final structure in the database management system?
I didn't actually run the code yet. I can run it real quick. I was just curious. So for this, would only this one work then, or this option?
Both
second
should
one?
work. Sorry to stay, but I need
Both
to.
should work?
Yeah, because as I can
Okay.
see, but now for time limitation we have, so just if you can start from the first 5, so go for the first one, create
Okay.
table customer, and then phone. Go ahead. Can you do this?
Yeah, I'll do it in a sec. I just gotta actually get into editing this and then copy paste it. So
I
think
want to
these
do
are-
it, even though you can do it all as a whole, I want to do it one by one, especially the first 5, to be sure that we
Oh,
are
you
doing
want
them
each table created on its own, one at a time? Okay, give me a second. I need to share my other screen. Stop sharing that and share. I think it's this one. Sure. Okay, so let's go to SQL.
So start with the customer one. Yeah.
So yeah. So
So
we already have an
it's-
error, so that's
yeah.
good. Let's
No,
go
this is
ahead.
error because you make a space for the table attribute. Don't make spaces.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just Control X that.
Yeah.
And we'll go with this.
Perfect. Now go to the
And
second
then
one.
we can go to structure.
Yeah. So
And where is
no, the customer. Yeah, go to the
Yeah.
customer table. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Sorry.
Yeah. No worry. Now
And
go
then
to the structure. Perfect. You have the social as you have social secret
we
number
have
as a
that.
primary. Yeah.
And then we can go and Control V. Did you want me to just create all of these at once or just do one at a time again still?
Yeah. I prefer one by one, just to,
Okay.
we can follow it up with all of us.
Oh wait, let's go to phone structure.
Yeah, this is a primary key. The foreign key, you can see it here. But later, when we talk the next lecture, we talk more about how we maintain the functional integrity. We can give it a name as a constraint. So,
Okay.
so far, you will not able to see it, but it's done. If there is an error, then you will get an error. Now everything okay, because there is no error from the SQL, then you are in the correct path.
Go. Property structure. And there we go.
Perfect. Still, we said we need to make the 5 tables at least. So we done with the 3, 2 more to go. And the perfect point that you did it in a correct sequence, which means that finish the tables that they have no foreign key, and then you start with a table that has a foreign key.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but here also you missed something here. The land.
did I?
What would be the key for the land?
Sorry, let me just go back because we didn't have a key for that. We have an access road for the land and the P number. So the P number was actually a foreign key from the property, but it also
it would be a
looks like,
foreign key and a primary key because this is a subclass.
Yeah. so that's what I was gonna ask. That was another one of my questions that I forgot to ask. Do we say
we can do it
that-
to the house? Let's do it to the house. Keep it as it is. Go to the house now.
Okay.
Yeah, write the code, but don't run it. Write the code, but don't run it. Okay.
Yeah.
So just keep the house. Now you said P number integer reference, but you can in this case also make a new line. Keep it as it is.
Yeah.
Make a new line. Yeah. And then he said it is a primary key. Who's your primary key is will P number. So a foreign key can be a primary number also, a primary key. This we have this situation when we have a foreign, when we have a weak entity, and also when we have a subclass.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
we
so
use
I
the
wasn't
foreign
sure
key as
about
a
that
part
as
from the
well.
primary key. Yeah, it can be apart from the primary key, or it can be the primary key as a whole.
Okay.
Go. Go.
So
Yeah,
we'll go that, and then let's go to house structure.
perfect. You see? Now it is a foreign key as a primary key at the same time.
Okay. Is there any more you wanted, or
No, it's okay. Perfect.
sounds good?
Thank you so much, Josh, and your group. You were amazing. You did it in a very quickly way. So I more than expected. Perfect. I'm happy to see this.
Sounds
Hi,
good.
Guys,
Professor.
go ahead, Asira.
Can you
Yeah.
just repeat what you said now? Just like the last step that Josh did.
You mean to repeat it?
Yep.
Josh, can you share again your screen? Just we can share the code in this case. Josh. Josh, can you hear us?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I was talking to myself, I guess.
I can see this. Just can you share your
but-
screen again?
Yeah, I'm doing that right now. There we go.
So
And
and
then
maybe
I'll be changing this to
Yeah,
So
I will
let's see.
suggest something, Josh. So
Yeah.
take the code of property. No, which one was the house?
the house is this one over here.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
just
Take
added primary
it. Take it. Copy just this. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Copy this only. Just copy this. Yeah. Go to the SQL now. To the
Yeah, I'll have to change windows real quick. Do that, and it's this one. So
yeah. No, here. Wait. No. Delete this.
Okay.
So I want you now to drop
Yeah, I have
the
to
table
drop-
house. Drop it
Yeah.
first.
And this is house.
Yeah, right house. Just right house. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Go. Yeah. Now let's create it again. Asira, please be with us before we execute this. Create it. Now add, don't execute it, just add the primary key as you did.
Yep.
Don't execute it, yeah? Just we want to discuss it before execution.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I will ask you kindly to make it line by line, which means to make it more clearly.
Yep,
clearly.
I can do that.
Yeah. And then, yeah, Asira. So Asira, here in the table house, we have a P number as a foreign key, and it is the same time at the same time as a primary key. Is it clear for this?
Yep.
So this is why we define it as a foreign key, and again we define it as a primary key. But because according to my schema that I have already done it using the ER diagram, this was a subclass where we need the primary key of the parent as a foreign key, and also we use it as a primary key for the child in the same way.
Okay.
Are you okay with this, Asira?
Yep. Okay.
So now we can run it, the code now. Go ahead, Josh. Josh?
Yep. Sorry, I was just plugging in
No,
my
don't
pen
worry.
because it was
Yeah, we have it
running
now.
out of battery. Sorry, it's this one here.
Yeah.
There we go.
Perfect. So P number, it will be a foreign key, and at the same time, it will be a primary key in this case.
Got it.
Okay, any more question for today? Okay, so next week will be our midterm, and we will continue. As I said, don't worry about the course material. I will make tuning for the other lectures. You will be in the good track. I have a plan for this. Even though we just lost 1 week, not more, because the holidays, I have already considered this from the plan from the first day. So if you have any question for the midterm, from now till the midterm, drop me an email, or you can have one-to-one meeting with me using the virtual office hour. I have already, in the Friday, I think so, we have a virtual office hour. You can drop me an email, said, hey, Ismail, I need to discuss with you one-to-one. So I will allocate for you a time within the virtual office hour of time frame. And then you can discuss whatever question you have for me before the midterm. The midterm will be in the Blackboard online at the same time as the class for the next week, the next Monday. Simran, please go ahead.
So the question types would be multiple choice or descriptive ones?
Both.
Okay.
Similar to the assignment, similar to the questions we have it in the lecture. So I will ask you to do a ER diagram, maybe to transfer to a schema. I will ask you some comprehensive questions. I will ask you to write very similar to what we have, nothing new, extremely similar to the question in the lecture and the assignment.
All right. Thanks.
Don't worry about it. Just the lecture more than sufficient. So, Harmandeep, do you have a question still?
Yes. So can we make ER diagrams on the paper and then share it?
Yes, the same as you do in the assignment. You can make in the paper and then take a photo and upload it to the exam. I will give you the option to upload. You don't have to draw it in the exam. Yes, you can do it.
Thank you.
But try your best to be somehow clear in order to understand you, and I can discuss it.
Yeah.
But yes, you can do it. Any more questions before we leave today? Okay, if we don't have any more questions. I really enjoyed you. I'm extremely lucky. I have a lot of people here, extremely smart and very cooperative. I'm extremely happy with the class environment. This is what I like. We always have so much interaction. Extremely keep it up. To leave or we will stay? I need 5 thumbs up or we will stay.
Seems like we don't want to leave too.
Okay, so enjoy the rest of the day. Take care all, yeah? See you next week. Take care.
Yeah, good day.
Thank you
Bye.
all.